We are going to look at this next document, which is the revised Bloom's Taxonomy process verbs, assessments, and questioning strategies. So this is how the Bloom's Taxonomy is actually implemented in a classroom. It starts over here with the level of the taxonomy from highest order thinking to lowest order thinking. So we have creating, evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. Directly next to them in the next column is the definition of that particular level of taxonomy. For instance, creating is the generation of new ideas, products, or ways of viewing things. And students can actually do that by designing, constructing, planning, producing, or inventing something. Let's look at the verbs, the process verbs, that is in the very next column. These are the actual actions that the students will undertake in the process of creating. A student can act, arrange, assemble, combine, compose, construct, create, design. As you can see, there are two columns of choices. The very next column is the assessment. Well, how is this process measured? It's measured in the assessment. So the form the assessment might take would be an advertisement, a poem, a blueprint, a cartoon, collage, films, formulas, inventions, new games. And there's also a few more on this column. And then this is the actual questioning strategy a teacher would use in this column in order to make all of this happen. So, asking a student, can you design a blank to blank? And the teacher would just plug in the actual information there. Can you see a possible solution to blank? How would you devise your own way to blank? What would happen if? How many ways can you? And can you create new and unusual uses for? So let's just look at this last one. Can you create new and unusual uses for? And it could be, some item. So the student would actually devise a new and unusual use for a certain item, and they would show that off using one of these assessment types. Maybe they'll make a film about a new and unusual use for that particular item, or they'll make a collage, or they'll write a poem about it. So these are all tied in together. And if you scroll down, you'll see that it's a little bit different. There are some that actually bleed over one into each other, just like the levels of taxonomy have some similarities through the levels. There will be some similarities here. You'll see it in the question stems. Some of the actual levels of taxonomy incorporate more than one level in. So if you look at this one, evaluating, how would you feel if? How effective are? So this is actually asking students to make a decision about something, and through that process they're going to argue and assess and choose and compare. They're going to recommend something, and the way that they would do so would be maybe in a debate or an editorial, or making a judgment, or writing an opinion piece. So you can see how this is all tied in together. I suggest that you actually print this out for the remainder of the tutorial so that you can refer back to it. It's a super helpful document, and in the next two screens the next screen you'll actually see where you can print out the PDF.